Hi, uh, good evening, and welcome to my nameless channel. Today is the 6th of April 2026, and this is my fifth podcast. I I would like to talk about one of my favorite things in the world. Uh, Books. Books have been my rescuer, my solace, my consolation, my constant caretaker, my therapist, my doctor, my closest friend, my uh, my cushion, my support system. I could just go on. And when I talk about books, I have to first thank Mr. Mukundan Menon, who was a family friend, my father's friend in a place called Balasore, where my father was working, and this family friend, young guy, then uh, was uh, was an officer in a bank. He had just joined after his studies. He had just joined, and I remember his face. I was 6 or 7, 6 I think. Yeah, I was 6 years old, and it was my sixth birthday. And this Mukundan uncle, I used to call him Mukundan uncle, was a nice, sweet guy who used to come and always make small talk with me. And he was tall, fair, handsome. I remember, with curly hair, and he was a welcome guest in our house, and because he would make everyone happy. Though later it so happened that he had to face mental illnesses and all that later, but when he had just come there and we were meeting him for the first time, or in the initial years, he was a jolly good fellow. My father was, of course, much elder, at least 15 years elder to him, and but they were like friends, and they used to talk politics, and I used to listen to tidbits of politics, Kerala politics, and the national politics and stuff. And they used to have a drink sometimes together, and my father would be in a very good mood on those days when he used to be around. He used to come on the weekends once or twice a month. And so on my sixth birthday, I get a gift from him, which was a pack of books, uh, novel kind of books. It was well packed and gift wrapped, and then I opened them and I saw four Enid Bulletin books, and my parents were a little uh, uh, surprised and a little shocked because they didn't. I think they didn't have any idea about children's novels. They thought novels were novels for adults, and they could contain anything. They were maybe used to Malayalam novels and all, which were pretty bold novels, and so they were a little circumspect, and I remember the reaction was funny, and I remember when after he left, my mom asking my mother asking my father whether it was a good thing that this guy's um, giving these books to this guy. Is too small. He's just 6 years old, and he just started learning his alphabets and his words and sentences. But I took the first book. Till then, my experience with reading was the comic pages of the Illustrated Weekly of India, which was the number one weekly magazine, printed magazine, uh, which used to come to my father's office, and ultimately it would come to my house, because not many people used to read all that. My dad used to, and I used to uh, look forward to it every week, just to uh, read or see those comics. Phantom, I remember Phantom, Dennis the Menace. Um, then there was oh, I forget, but Phantom and Dennis were my favorites. I look forward. I always look forward to the magazine coming to my house after a couple of days in the office. There were days when I used to go to the office and read it there when my father used to be around, and that was my first experience with reading. And I noticed very early at 5 itself that that was something I loved. I loved reading, and apart from those, I wouldn't just leave the comics. I won't just read the comics and leave the book. No, after going through the comics, Phantom and Dennis the Menace, and I forget the other two, I would then go through the whole magazine, read the titles or read the headlines and everything, and look at the pictures. The Illustrated Weekly, as it as the name goes, was full of pictures. And I remember it had a short story every week, one page short story. So I used to try to read them also, and understand a bit. Many stories I won't understand. They were for adults, and a lot of things would just go off my over my head. But I remember enjoying those printed photographs of leaders and of war and of of some riot or um, of some death. They would have these news photographs, and the articles, and I would go through those photographs, and I used to uh, read the description of the photograph, and yeah, that's how this reading thing bug started. And then, as if on cue, Mr. Mukundan gives me this set of Enid Blyton books, and that's what I needed. I My reading time was I used to have my own bedroom, and my tape cot in my bedroom, and the thing was that I would read myself to sleep, and then my dad would come and switch off the light, so that I wouldn't have to get scared of the dark and all that. So that was the practice. So then I started reading those books, and I finished them in a very short time, one after the other, tuck, tuck, tuck. And this opened this whole world of imagination. They were like Enid Blyton books. The ones I read, Secret Five or something, they were like uh, five children, small children getting together, school children, and then acting like detectives and solving small small crimes. And uh, I was I I really saw them like you watch a movie. I mean, at that age, the imagination and your creative brain is so nice. I mean, so what do you call it? Um, so active that I actually imagined England and London and those small towns where this thing was happening. It was a and Britain was basically English. This thing story. So I hadn't seen much of any foreign pictures and all that, pictures of foreign lands and all that. I did not have. There was no access to foreign movies. So visually, we didn't have any idea, though, that at least people like me, children like me, didn't have an idea of. Yeah, we knew uh, Eiffel Tower, we knew Big Ben, we knew all those landmarks in all those cities, but how did houses look? How did the streets look, or how did the villages look, or how did the farms look? We didn't have any idea, but also, how did the people look? Yeah, they were fair, okay, but otherwise, how did they look? How did the children look? No idea. So I had to imagine all this, and I did imagine all that, and I created a England in my brain. And for a long time, I was, I used to enjoy that English uh, piece of space in my head, thanks to Enid Blyton. And so at age 6, second standard, this bug I bit me, and then there was no stopping. Then I had to have a book in the night. Couldn't sleep without a book. So that became a regular thing. So I started hunting for books after that. After this thing was over, I started hunting for books, and then uh, I used to ask my friends. They would give me Hindi novels. I would read them also. Hindi detective novels. They were very good those days. I forget the those books. They were very nice actually. Um, uh, and comic books. That was what most children read those days. Bound comic books. Some parents, uh, they would give their children books, bound comic books, like a lot of comic books uh, stitched together. So I hunted for them, got them, and this reading thing was a part of my life. And as I went up classes, second, third, fourth, I had access to the library. After that, then I started scouring the library for books, and found things that I could read, and I started reading those books, and then like I said, I could count on my friend Lakbir Singh, and that Khandelwal guy, and Gopal. I forget his surname, Gopal something. So those guys also were into these. They were mainly into Hindi, these pulp fiction, and they were good. They were very good, detective books, detective novels. And I remember a particular series where uh, there was a Muslim boy and a Hindu boy, and youngsters, and they would solve crime. And somebody had a very nice secular spirit those days, and I remember reading lots of them. And so this went on, and throughout schooling, uh, this book reading was part of my uh, habit, daily habit. Of course, there were small breaks, like when I was put in a hostel in Madras. There it was difficult because you were in a dormitory with so many other children. So you don't get the lights are switched off at 10 o'clock in the night, and then you can't really uh, read a book. Yeah, there were some um children of rich people who used to read using torchlight, small torchlight, battery torchlight. They used to read. I remember some of them, but otherwise I didn't have torchlight. So slowly that nightly reading came to a halt, and but still, whenever I could get hands on something, I would find time to read. And I used to go to the library regularly there in Chennai also, and find something to read. Use my library hours fully for reading only, whereas the other children would be just whiling away time, and or they had a there was an option, either you go and sit in the library or you can go and play also. So there were few people like me who had this reading bug, and we used to sit and read. And so after that college, I was put in a very bad college, government college, really lousy college, where my my father also had studied for a year and dropped out very long back, and my brother studied there. My cousins all studied there. I call it a bad college because I could not relate to it, or I could not match up to it, or you can call it whatever, because I had this central school English mm, based learning, and till 10th, and suddenly from 10th you go to the college there. uh, it's not there's no 11th and 12th in Kerala. Now there is, I think, but those days it was like after 10th you go to uh, pre-degree college. So I I couldn't uh, really. I took science, and I started struggling in maths and physics and chemistry. These three things, especially the part where you had to uh, learn theorems by rote, and you had to calculate stuff, and uh, all those things, and mathematics especially. I started struggling, and so then I found my consolation in the library. I would just go into the library. I I made the library librarian my friend, kind of, and he would allow me inside, and give me a small. It was a government college library, so there was no sitting arrangement and seating arrangements and all that. And you're supposed to take the book and go. That's all. You're not supposed to sit there and read and all. But this man used to allow me uh, during class time to take a stool and sit in a corner where nobody would see me, and read whatever I wanted. And it was an old college, so it was an old library. So there were a lot of old books, and I just liked the smell of old books and the feel of it, and I kept reading. I remember reading Shakespeare there inside that library, dingy library, and I mean you couldn't get mm, ne- uh, anything much. No, it was a college library, so most of it was classic stuff, and no modern uh, things. Or so I kept that thing going. Then uh, then I remember what I go to Delhi, get a job. Then when I started earning something, the bug did not leave me. I I had this addiction, or I had this compulsion, that every salary that I get, I had to buy some book, at least one book. The salary itself was a pittance. We could barely survive. We could just pay our rent and get our food. That's all. There was nothing left at the end of the month. Even going for a movie was impossible. Uh, so I'm talking pre-liberalization. So salaries were very, very bad. Apprentices used to be given pittance. Then you, after the apprenticeship, you join as a technician or whatever. That starting salary was just a amount of cash that you could just manage to survive 30 days. That's all. And but still, I had this mad uh, thing about books. I used to buy books, and I used to. Uh, I started creating a collection of books, and by the time I finished my 3 plus 2 5 years there, I had a pretty decent collection of books, and I used to read. There wasn't much time for reading then because work and sleep and uh, arranging food or cooking food or having food outside, those things would take away a lot of time. And we used to do overtime to earn some more money. So all that left me with little time for reading. But I continued with that bedtime reading because now I was on my own. I had my first I had a roommate and all. Later I moved on to a room of my own, and I could do whatever I wanted. So I was into reading again, bedtime reading, like my childhood. And though I wouldn't have read too many books in those 5 years, I kept adding to my collection. And finally, when I had a medical problem and I had to come down to Coimbatore to my parents' place, I had a whole big box of books there in Delhi, which was parceled and sent by my uncle, my aunt's husband, who did that for me. And I I could feel a relief only when the books reached me finally. And I think everything, most of it was intact. Um, um, my uncle did the best he could. Um, so yeah, so that was then I had a almost a year break because of my, not a year, 6 7 months of a break because of my medical issues. And I had to take a rest, and I had lots of time. I used to try to make myself helpful in the house. I I was a I was a guy who was earning, and now suddenly I was a liability to the house, to the family again. I was on my own, but again I had become a liability at this age 25 or so, and I I had to be taken care of. I had to be uh, given medicines and all every day, and so they did the best they could with their limited resources. My father had retired by then. My brother had a job, so somehow we were, and there was my sister was studying. We had a grandmother who was my grandmother, who was staying with us. So it was quite a struggle, but I tried to help my mother with her daily work and her um, doing the dishes and getting washing clothes, and because those days there was no washing machine and all those things, so it was all done by hand. So I used to help her do all those things in the morning, and then after lunch I would start reading, because by then I had another source. uh, for books, a much better source. My my brother got married, and my sister-in-law had a friend here in Coimbatore, and that friend was into. They were well-off people. They had a huge collection of books, and when I hinted to my sister-in-law that I need books, I have to keep my brain engaged or I'll go mad. Sitting like this, doing nothing, being unproductive, and being a liability to my family. So I had to have books. So luckily, uh, that friend, I don't know why, how, mm, she gave me the exact author and her books, which was exactly what I needed then, in that mood, in that state of mind. Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand uh, is a very controversial figure. There are there are a lot of critics who criticize her work and her philosophy. This thing called objectivism, where you think about yourself, and everything is valued. You value yourself, and you put a value to yourself, and you associate yourself with only people who have value to give you, or you don't associate with them. And she 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 created supermen um, who behaved like artificial intelligence. They didn't have emotions, and they would do the right thing or not, or they would just give up. And that was a strange philosophy. But for that stage of my life, when I was going through a very bad time, that gave me a lot of inspiration, confidence, and stuff like that, which I really needed. I thought, yeah, if what's his name, the Fountainhead guy, what's his character's name, the famous. Hmm, I, um, my memory is becoming weaker because of all these medicines I'm taking. All of us know Fountainhead. What's his name? Okay, whatever. So I thought, if he could do it, why even I can do it. And I read the whole. I read everything that Ayn Rand had written. I started going around, and when I finished those 2 3 books that this lady had given me, I started going around, getting those books from libraries and stuff, her other books, and I read all of them, and it gave me a real. It saw me through that bad phase, very low phase I was going through. It saw me through, and I was in that land all the time while sleeping, or I used to imagine there that the America. This was America. That was in Britain was England. This was America, and I was literally living in America those days, uh, with these strong characters, strong no nonsense characters, who were like the best in everything in their field, particularly Howard Roark. Yeah, that's Fountainhead's hero, Howard Roark. And well, I used to think, why be? Even I can try to be Howard Roark, and what stops me? I can will myself into that. I can also be like him. I can have strong values, and I can. Um, Somebody is going to one day or the other recognize those values, and the um, the aim for perfection and all that, and one day I'll be like him. So that kept me alive and kept me sane throughout those 6 or 7 months. But ultimately, of course, you see through the Ayn Rand, uh, what do you call it, Ayn Rand game, or Ayn Rand mist, myth, or mystique. You see through it, because ultimately I started finding that the first thing that I couldn't, I mean, I found odd, and most people do, is that uh, in all her novels, uh, nobody falls sick. I mean, sickness is not at all factored into all these things. Is not factored into life circumstances. Sickness, or other tragedies, or things like that. Natural stuff that happens. That is not factored into that in her stories at all. It's an idealistic world. I mean, where those things don't happen at all. You are, if you are a Howard Rock, you will never be sick one day in your life. You will be in perfect health, because you are perfect inside out. So you will never fall sick. There is no chance of you uh, becoming fat, or developing diabetes, or all those things. No. So that broke that Ayn Rand thing that I had for a year or so. But that was very good. I needed Ayn Rand. I think all teenagers should be given a dose of Ayn Rand, and then by the time they grow out of their teenage and become go for work and all that, I think they would themselves realize that it was a trip. Ayn Rand is uh, like a good trip, like they say, uh, you have a good trip with uh, drugs or whatever. Ayn Rand is like a good trip, and then you come out of it and realize that it was only a trip. So that was that, and then yeah, I forgot to tell you something in the middle. When I was working in the north, Delhi, Faridabad, I was working in a press. I was working in the printing press of India Today, the big group, publishing and broadcasting group. They had this, that was their mothership, the biggest press in India, Thomson Press. It was a British press. I mean, it belonged to a British guy. When they left, they sold it for peanuts to my boss's, that is Arun Puri's father, and they made their fortune from that. From with that, everything came out of that. That was their crown jewel, and they had the best machinery. They had very good systems in place. So they were the most reliable printing press in India those days. I'm talking about, say, 30, 35, 40 years back. So all the good stuff, whatever was being printed in India, was being printed there, uh, including India Today. Of course, it was their own. They could come out with this India Today weekly in 1975 because of that press. They could churn out a weekly every week without fail, because they had the backing of this solid press. And Reader's Digest used to be printed there, and several other publications also, and many paperbacks were printed there. High-end coffee table books. Then I remember there was a section printing lottery. There was a very uh, the secured place where they used to print lotteries for several governments, and they used to um, They used to print these annual reports of those days. Uh, every company had to come out with their annual report with all their complete details and their profit and loss accounts and all those things of that whole year. And so that was a big market, and these guys had captured that market, and they were minting money out of all that. And and uh, yeah, so there I had access because I was in the pre-printing section, working in the pre-printing section. It's called the processing section, where they convert these printed type into film, and then uh, arranged everything, the pictures and the text and everything, and then uh, lay it on one uh, big sheet, and then that is exposed onto a plate, which goes to the press, and then it's printed. So I was in that pre-printing department where all this processing used to take place. There was a lot of photography involved. There was a lot of scanning involved. The scanners that you have desktop so small, those scanners are there now. A scanner used to uh, be as big as a I could say as big as a lorry, as big as a big lorry. That's how big a scanner used to be those days. And I learned operating that. And so yeah, what I was trying to tell you is that I had access the uh, to the uh, what do you call that, um, the first pages of any magazine, anything like India Today. Once they designed that week's copy, that thing, it was we called a dummy. That dummy used to come to me or come to us, our department, and I had access to reading India Today 2 days before the whole country read it. I used to sit and read the whole thing. I used to feel so nice that see, I am able to read India Today before even the PM reads it. So that was a kick for me, and I used to Reader's Digest. I used to read India Today. I used to read even Span, which was a Russian embassy magazine, and there was this American magazine also to rival this Span. Uh, there were these propaganda magazines of the Cold Wars. I used to read them. I used to get to read all these things even before they went to press, and I made full use of that. And yeah, about book collection, I should not forget to mention this, that um, when I was working there, the son of the owners of Rupa Books, which is a huge company now. Then it wasn't that big. They were just printing paperbacks of foreign books and selling it here, and classics and all those things. They were not like they were okay. A publishing house, which was a small publishing house, and but I think their ambitions were big, of course. So that Rupa owner's son was working here in our department. He was an engineer. So maybe they had thought this guy could learn about all this printing and all that. So one day they could improve their business also. They were into publishing. So he was there. So I found out that this guy was the Rupa owner's son, Rupa Publishing House owner's son. So I started becoming friendly with him. He was a very sweet guy. And I convinced him that I'm a big reader, and he used to watch me reading, and he used to come and ask me and talk to me. And I told him that I'm a big reader and I collect books and all that. So can you get me books at discounted prices from your office or factory or wherever? And he said, "Okay, man, what do you want?" I gave him a list. I mean, whatever came to my mind, and I thought uh, people offer so many things and then forget, no. So I thought this guy, big guy, rich guy's son, and I was a small time guy there. So why would he want to oblige me or help me? I just asked for. I gave him the list and forgot. And within a week, he comes with one big bag of books. There were at least 12 or 13 books, all published by Rupa. All those classics and all those things that I wanted. And when I saw that, I got a shock. I thought, now who's going to pay for this? I mean, this is going to cost a lot of money, you know. And I had asked for a discount, but how much could he give me a discount? I mean, even 50% would be a huge amount for me. I asked him, sir, how much would I have to pay? He just laughed it off. He said, just pay whatever you can, man. I just picked it up from my office, and these are sample copies, and you don't have to worry about the cost and everything. You just pay what you feel like, what you have, or I am not going to put a price. I cried uh, that day, not in front of him, of course. Uh, Boys don't cry, but that was like Mukundan Menon coming back to my life. And this guy also was like Mukundan Menon, tall, fair, good looking. Of course, Mukundan Menon did not have glasses. This guy had glasses. That was the only difference. But this guy was again an avatar who had come to my rescue. Like this sister-in-law's friend who came when I was down with my illness here. While at Faridabad and working at Thompson Press, this guy came as a uh, avatar to me, and he gave me that, and that started off this collection addiction. You know, when I had 12 books, then I wanted to make it 13, 14, 15, 16, and it went on and on. And I I really wish he's in a very good position, happy somewhere with his family and all. I wish him well. I wish Mukundan uncle also well. I don't know whether he will be alive now. He must be more than 80 now, if he's alive. Um, they were good people. They they I'm sure they don't have any idea how much difference they made to my life. uh, and of course, this lady whose name also I don't know, the sister-in-law's friend, who again came to me, or yeah, of course, I didn't even meet her. I used to get books through my brother and sister-in-law. They used to pick them and bring them to me. So I haven't even seen her face, that particular person's face, but that was another avatar. She came the right time, the right place, and then I started working in Coimbatore in an advertising agency, and I again had another medical issue. Uh, this was the second major medical issue. This was bigger. This was connected to the spine. I had a I had a ruptured disc, and life was getting difficult. Walking, sitting, and getting riding the bike. Because by then I had a scooter. The agency had given me a scooter, and I was traveling the scooter, coming home and going back, commuting by scooter, and then go to meet clients in the scooter. So I was doing all that with this crushed disc, and so it became bad, very bad. And a time came when uh, it was a, it was a, it was an ordeal. Just getting up from a chair. It was an ordeal just getting up, getting out of bed. And when it became so bad, and surgery was, my dad tried everything he could in Coimbatore, nothing worked. And now again, I had become again a liability again to my parents. And then maybe my father, he thought that I was just 27, 28. He must have thought that at 28, if this guy is not physically corrected, this guy would become invalid, or uh, he would he would become a good for nothing. He would be a liability all his life. So he uh, inquired and found out that the best person for this kind of a surgery then those days was one doctor called Mohandas, a surgeon called Mohandas, who had uh, a small hospital um, inside this big hospital complex in um, Chennai, Madras, those days, and again I forget the name of that big hospital complex. It used to be a studio. It used to be a studio, a film studio, and the owners, when this studio business was gone, movies started going outdoors for shooting and all that. So that studio, this man, the owner, he converted it into a hospital complex, and so there were all kinds of specialities. There was a heart hospital, there was a kidney hospital, there was a spine hospital or orthopedic hospital, and so I was taken there, and this doctor's hospital was called MIOT, uh, Mohandas Institute of Orthopedy and Traumatology, MIOT. So he had just started that there in that complex, studio complex, and my dad took me there, and I got this corrective surgery done. I was there for a week, came back. Again, I had to be on rest for some time. And uh, we we had just moved into our new house that my dad had built, and who lives opposite to our house? A bank manager who was an alcoholic, and he was an alcoholic because he had other dreams. He wanted to be a writer. He wanted to be a movie writer. He wanted to be a director. He had a lot of talents, but uh, life made him choose this line which he didn't like at all, banking and all that. But he was so intelligent. He had become a manager by the time he was there, and I think he was into depression because he wasn't talking to anybody. He was always inside his room. His wife used to be quite friendly, but he wouldn't come out of. He would just go for work, come back, and he would be inside his bedroom, and he would be reading something all the time. When I used to see him, he used to say hi, and so he started noticing that I was reading something all the time because I was taking rest, and he could see from there that I would be with some book all the time. So she started smiling at me. This man was pretty old. I mean, I'm talking about a 45-year-old man with two children, two daughters, and all that. And then he started smiling, and then we started talking, and then he took me to his house, and I found one huge wall full of books. And he happened to be like me, and avid reader and writer also. He had plans of writing books, and he had a lot of manuscripts lying here and there. It was a mess, I could see that he had messed up his life, and they used to. I remember they used to have fights. Husband and wife used to have fights in the night because of this alcohol. But the man had talent, or he had some passion towards writing, books, reading, cinema, mm, maybe making a cinema one day. And then he started offering me books, and he gave me a set of books. I remember uh, David Irving books and Irwin Shaw. These two, they sound similar, but they have their uh, their genres are different. But this Irwin Shaw guy, his novels were brilliant. I remember Rich Man, Poor Man, Beggar Man, Thief. All those very interesting uh, takes on life and struggles and all that. And uh, uh, then I was getting regular books from him, and that phase of my life, again, when I was trying to recover from an illness, this man came as an avatar to me and helped me introduce myself to those authors, and and I recommend them to you, John Irving and Irwin Shaw. Just read all of their books, and you will thank me. Um, so yeah, so he also was another avatar who came and in the right time with the right kind of books. Okay, then after that, yeah, then I got into uh, being a independent professional. Uh, I used to help small companies with their branding, with their designing, with their brand identity and their packaging, streamlining the whole thing so that there is a theme, there is a brand identity, and all this. That's the thing I started doing, and I found a huge market in Tirupur. They were supplying, or they were manufacturing, supplying knitwear, basically undergarments and t-shirts and all those things to the whole country. And they had just started off marketing it in a big way. I was in the right time, the right place, and they needed uh, a, a, a unit which could produce designs and for their packaging and for their advertising material and for their posters and for whatever advertising they were doing. They needed somebody who could do all those things, and there I was. I set up a design studio there, and I did well. Uh, those days, yeah, my reading took a backseat. I remember I didn't have time because I was busy with my work, and I had started my family. I had to take care of my son who was born with a little problem in his feet. He was born with that, and we had to correct that, and we had to spend a lot of time going to Chennai and to the same hospital, to the same man, Dr. Mohandas, MIOT, and so reading did take a backseat. That went on till my uh, that particular business slowed down because of reasons like there was consolidation in that industry. The big brands survived, and smaller brands, most of the smaller brands could not survive, and starting a brand wasn't attractive a proposition anymore because there were these giants you had to confront, and they had flooded the market. And so It would you couldn't just start a brand and sell in a small market and make a business out of that, because it's low value stuff and the margins are not high, and they don't sell like hotcakes and all. People don't Indians especially, now they are different, but in those days, what you wore underneath your mm, uh, uh, outer dress was not a big deal, as long as it was comfortable and it was okay. It was not very costly. It was okay. Style and all that hadn't come up, and then yeah, I'm talking about pre-jockey days, and then of course jockey came and changed the whole scenario. Now, uh, what you wear inside is also very important. It's a style statement. So I don't think anybody educated uh, and urban would buy anything other than jockey nowadays. Even students, for that matter, they are exposed to everything, and they know this is the thing to wear, to be trendy and to be stylish and to feel nice. So I had to my business had to I had to wind up my business. It went on for almost 10 years. I had a good 10 years, and then I whatever was left was taken over by my brother-in-law, who continued with creating advertising material for the companies and um, creating a lot of stuff, supplying a lot of stuff that they needed. A lot of what do you call it? Hmm, basic stuff. I mean, where there was not much to do with creativity, branding, and all those things. They needed packing material. They needed complementary bags, or things like that. So there was a market for that, but I was not interested in that. Because I considered myself as a branding guy. My specialty was that I would take your brand and give you back. I'll take a name from you and I'll give you back a brand. Even though you're a small company, you don't have to go to a big advertising and say, I can do this for you. So that was the thing I was offering, and there were a lot of people ready for that. And I didn't have any interest in going back to trading, which was what my brother-in-law started, and he's doing very well. Um, so after that, I there was a pause in my career, in my business, uh, uh, in my business, and then I started reading again seriously, and but this bug of collecting books did not go away, because by then I had money to buy books, and I used to go there, and I used to splurge on books every month. Lot of books I used to buy on impulse, which later I regretted, but I had to anyway keep them. But a lot of good books also came along, and it's part of my collection. I I can tell you that now I must have read close to 40 or 50% of the books I have. The rest of them are there waiting for me to read them. But then what has happened now is, because of this digitization of books, I have started reading books on my phone, and sometimes on my desktop, uh, or the iPad. So what has happened is that has um, that has disturbed this holding in the book. reading the printed word, because as I've aged, I have um, you can see I have powerful lenses out here. I mean, powerful glasses, and my power is quite high. And uh, reading a book, if especially with small fonts, is has become difficult, especially when in the phone you can just enlarge it and read easily. I miss the smell and the feel of the paper, and the the holding the book, and all that. I miss all that. So buying books have come down. I buy books nowadays only to make a statement. Suppose the government is not happy with one book, I see to it that I go and buy it, because that's my statement that, no, don't mess with the freedom of expression. And um, so I do that. I do buy on and off some books, but then now reading has been totally through either Kindle or Audible, where I put on my headphones and go for a walk, and while I'm listening to a book. Um, mm, Maybe not a very healthy thing, using headphones and all that, earphones for a very long time. But then I look at it this way, that um, I have preserved my body despite major setbacks, and I'm 61, and I intend to use my faculties to the fullest, and I'm ready to take the hit when it comes, uh, instead of being cautious about everything. So I continue reading on the phone, so that increases my screen time. It's bad for my eyes. Sometimes when I try to sleep, I can't close my eyes because they burn. They That's a problem. And again, reading from a book has become difficult, because my I think my eyes revolt because of the ease of reading a bigger type uh, here digitally. My eyes don't are not happy, amused by reading books, but I carry on reading them. And for that matter, even this uh, thing that I'm doing now is not a very good practice, because I have lights, strong lights on, directed towards me, and my eyes are feeling the uh, feeling the stress, and but life has to go on. One has to adapt with new forms of technology, medium, and stuff. Maybe 20 years back, if I was a 60-year-old man, I would have been writing instead of speaking like this. Um, but then I find this better. I'm able to pack in a lot of stuff in an hour, um, which would be very difficult for me to do now uh, in the traditional way. Write it down and try to get it published somewhere, and hope that somebody reads this whole thing, especially when attention spans are very limited, and there are so many talented people out there. writing fantastic stuff, way more readable than what I can write. Uh, uh, that's I shouldn't be saying that because I haven't yet gotten into writing in a serious way. So let me keep that hope alive, uh, because what's the point of all the thousands and thousands of books I have read, right from age 6 till 60, if I don't get to write something of my own and uh, leave it as my legacy. So that ache is there, that want is there, that wish is there, um, and I take this thing that I'm doing as uh, a preparation for that. Um, this is just an exercise I'm doing, so that words flow through my pen also, like that, like this, easily, um, uh, without any filters, you know. Um, and then the language can be made polished later, but the stuff has to be original. Like these talks I'm doing, I don't prepare anything. I just decide in the last moment. Uh, okay, I can let me talk about this, and I just do it. There's no preparation involved. There is nothing. It's just uh, talking right out of my heart. You must have seen it is. I don't do any editing or anything. I just put it there. I don't shorten it or speeden it or whatever. I maybe there are people like me who are not, who still have some attention span, who still like to listen to people who are saying something honestly, sincerely, in a raw fashion. Uh, and I hope to find that reader or video watcher, and give him some pleasure, some joy of listening to somebody else's perspective, taken from their life. And yeah, that's the idea. So that's 1 hour and 8 minutes today, which is a little longer than I usually do, but at least it has been perfect. There has not been any glitch. The sound is there. Last video, I'm sorry, the last 8 minutes are missing because my microphone ran out of power and I didn't know. Actually, the light was blinking in that thing, but I didn't know what the blinking meant. I'm still crude in all this, um, so give me that slack, and I will try to get better and bring you stories which would be stories or talks or monologues which should be more interesting and uh, and will give you some uh, Gen X perspective on stuff. Okay, thanks for watching. If you watched, thanks if you uh, liked it, and thank you very much if you subscribe to this channel. I have only 5 subscribers now, so it feels a little um, um, awkward sometimes. And please share it with somebody who might be a little slow on the head like I am. uh, um, and who might like listening to old stuff um, in the raw, unfiltered, uh, and tell them to visit my nameless channel. And I'm going to call it the nameless channel. Yeah, I have decided on that. I'm going to name this channel. It's going to be a nameless channel. So thanks a lot from nameless channel and Sashidharan. And I'll see you tomorrow.